to go through, that is to read the book on magic by our famous physician, Professor Ranganathananda. Please come. Yes. The book is and because I have read it, there is no magic also. The Gita will be talking about Maya. So you can see Maya. Last Sunday, we studied verse 10 of the 4th chapter, a very great verse. Vetaraga bhayakrodha manmaya mam upashrataha bahavo jnanatapasa kota madbhava magataha. Many have attained unto thee. Bahavo, how jnana tapasa kota, purified through the tapas of jnana, austerity of jnana, when they are free from raga, dvesha, bhaya, attachment, fear, anger. When we control these things, the mind becomes drawn towards the divine within. Manmaya, mam upashritaha. Such people, many, bahavo, have attained to be by the tapas of jnana. So on that subject, I spent the whole evening last Sunday. What exactly is the meaning of tapas of knowledge? Every day we are confronted with so many problems. We have to face them, solve them. We need strength for it. We have to develop that jnana within, both external physical world jnana and our own inner jnana. Both are jnana. And when we have our spiritual strength, we create as it were a fire within us, fire of jnana, in which you can put everything. It will be burned out. No bondage will remain. This can be done by everyone, and I said last Sunday, every educated person must have lit that fire of jnana within. Then only he or she can develop character. Education is meant to develop character, not to stuff some ideas in the head. That is one thing we have forgotten. Without jnana tapas, character cannot come. If education develops character. It will be through initiation of this jnana tapas in the mind of the student concerned. That is a great subject. I dealt with it quite in detail last Sunday. We go to the 11th sloka this evening. This is another important milestone, this 11th sloka. India has one uniqueness, and that is harmony between religion and religion. Harmony between religion and science. Harmony between religion and atheism and agnosticism. No conflict between these various people. They respect everyone. That attitude was inculcated in India from the time of the Rigveda up to Sri Ramakrishna in our time. There is a precious asset. Very few societies have this asset. It is our main asset here, because it is based upon high philosophical and spiritual vision of unity in diversity. Diverse expressions. Behind all of which there is unity. That was a great teaching given to us by sages first. Then the states in India, political states, they also expounded this idea. Particularly you will find Ashoka doing it in his edicts on rocks and pillars. Respect every religion. Practice harmony between religion and religion. You will find in these edicts. In that context comes Krishna's great message in the Gita in verse 11. This is that verse. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vatmani vartante manushya pata sarvashaha. Whatever paths men take in the world of religion, they all come unto me. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. You take a path, another person takes another path. The paths are various, but they all come to me. There is a very strong emphasis. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. You come by this road, I accept you. You come by that road, I don't say you come by this road only. Don't come by that road. You won't come to me. You can come from any road. I take you by whatever road you come. All these religions have so many paths, so many roads as it were. In all other religions, there's always one standard road. That standard road, a few dogmas are there. Through that you come, then I will accept you. That's the teaching. Just the opposite in India. Through any path you take, I accept you. What a beautiful idea. We have in Greek mythology the idea of something like a Procrustes bed. Procrustes was a Greek in mythology. He had a bed. Whenever people pass by, he will invite them, come and lie on my bed. If the man is too long beyond the bed, he will cut the leg, make it equal to the bed. When it is too short, he will pull it, make it equal to the bed. My bed is a standard. All must be according to this bed. This is called, in English, Procrustean bed of dogmas and creeds. We never had this concept of Procrustean bed. Never. We give a person a shirt which he needs for his body size. Not one standard shirt for one and all. That is the tremendous contribution of Indian culture, coming from not any kind of expediency or a policy, out of spiritual vision, philosophical understanding. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam kathaiva bhajamyaham mamavartamani vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Men always adopt a path that is leading to me only. There is no kind of standard path. This must go, not that path. There is no standard. And so, this idea, which started from the Rigveda, then to the Gita, then Srimad Bhagavatam, and today in Sri Ramakrishna's teaching, Yato Mat, Tato Pat. As in the religions, so many pathways to God. Practice harmony. Practice concord. Don't quarrel in the name of religion. This blessed country is the only country where this idea is highly appreciated, expounded, and practiced. If we are losing it today, it is because of our ununderstanding of our own heritage. But India will always stick to this great ideal. Today, Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda have come to strengthen this great ideal of mutual understanding, tolerance in the world of religion. In the Roman Empire, there were many religions, but nobody respected these religions. People can take whatever religion you like. That was the idea. There was a cynical attitude towards religions by the state and by the intellectuals. That is expressed by Gibbon in a famous book, Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. This mark comes there. The various cults and religions of the Roman Empire were believed to be equally true by the multitudes, equally false by the philosophers, equally useful by the magistrates. The political state liked it. Be busy with your religion, don't disturb the political matters here. So they will allow religion to go on. That is a very cynical attitude. Just the opposite of what you have in India. They appreciate these religions. Our political leaders, our intellectuals, they appreciate and encourage you. Go in that way. Don't quarrel and fight. The goal is one. Paths are many. By this teaching, we establish that positive approach to religious toleration known as acceptance. We accept you. You are a Christian, we accept you. You are a Sikh, we accept you. Muslim, we accept you. You are a Vaishnava, we accept you. That attitude. Krishna is giving prominence to that central theme of our culture, harmony in the world of religion. If religion doesn't help us to establish harmony, what can help us then? The greatest peace is in the heart of religion. But because this attitude was not cultivated, religion became a center of strife, intolerance, violence, war. It is least in Indian history because of this teaching, because of teaching by sages and the political state. That's why we can welcome a foreign religion here. You are welcome, continue to practice your religion. You don't disturb me at all. That's what happened to the Parsis, Zoroastrians, when they came here in the 8th or 9th century AD. The king of that state in Gujarat welcomed them, gave them full freedom to practice your religion, your culture. Now this attitude is universal in India. We are not to be taught this thing. Whereas in every other country, you have to teach it, because that's not their attitude. If I am very religious, I am fanatical. If I cease to be religious, I become liberal. As a religious man, I cannot be liberal. That is the Western and Middle East attitude. Ours is different. Because of my religion, I am liberal. I accept your religion. I practice harmony. From religion itself comes this impulse to respect every other religion. That is the significance of this statement of Sri Krishna. Ye yatha nam pravadyante tams tathaiva bhajanyah mama vatmani vartante manushya prapta sarvashah. All people following the path, various, crooked, straight, whatever it is, ultimately leading to the divine. That's the nature of religion. There are two dimensions in religion. One is what makes it separate from each other. Ritual, ceremony, dogma, creed, they all belong to one side. The other is spiritual development, spiritual growth, that is the higher side. The mystics represent the second part of religion. And mystics generally speak the same language in every religion. Sufi mystic, Hindu mystic, Buddhist, Islamic and Jewish, they all speak the same language because they realize the one behind the many. Generally they are more tolerant and more understanding. except when they are controlled by a rigid church or by a rigid orthodoxy of a society. But in India we didn't have any central church to control. We were free to experiment in the world of religion. New sects come, new teachers come, followers come, we respect them. You continue. The more the better. In religion, variety is essential. The more types of religion, the more people will get satisfied. A standard religion cannot satisfy everybody. Just like food. You must have varieties of food. My taste is different from yours. But food is food. That will nourish you. Whatever be the food you take. So in this way, India has been taught this great lesson throughout the ages. And it is not going to be otherwise in the modern period. Though you have communal conflicts and all that, you will find almost all of them are based not on religion, but on political factors in India today. Religiously there is no quarrel between people and people. But some religions are narrow. They don't believe any other religion can be true. That has to change. That will change in the Indian context in the coming decades. So the history of religion has been partly good, partly bad. Hereafter it will be only good when this Indian influence comes to influence all the religions of the world, Christianity, Islam and other things. Actually it is happening. Christianity is changing fast. Christian writers are opening themselves to inspiration from non-Christian sources. That rigid mind is not there. So a big change is coming over Christianity. An author sent me a book he has written recently, Krishna and Christ. A very serious book, about 300 pages, scholarly. I wrote a foreword also to the book. He is a Jesuit father, stayed with me here. I read through the book, beautiful, with respect, with reverence to non-Christian ideas. Such books are coming out more and more now. Formerly it was not so. Only twisting other people's ideas, presenting them in a bad way. Take the best of your religion, compare it with the worst of another religion. That's how books were written till now. Now you are finding differently. Respect every religion. Respect the ideas that are there. That is one approach. This is my approach, like that. So Krishna's teaching is going to influence more and more people in all parts of the world. In this age where we are coming closer and closer, this is the only attitude that can work. Attitude of respect and reverence to your belief. I cannot deal with you if I think you are on the wrong path, always trying to make you come to the right path. Such fanatics are there. In every religion there are fanatics. But that has no future. Future is on the line of harmony, concord, tolerance, understanding. So this teaching of Krishna will inspire more and more people in all parts of the world, and the Gita itself is being translated into all sorts of languages, and millions of people are reading this great book, the Gita. So here is that 11th verse, and this is the important teaching of Krishna. He himself was a universal mind, sympathy for every type of worship, every type of religion that he has shown in his life also, and here we have the expression of it through the Gita teaching. Then the next sloka says, Kamshantah karmanam siddhim yajantaya devataha chitram hi manushe loke siddhat bhavati karmaja. There is one supreme divine being who is the self of all, who is the self of the universe. That is the central core of religion. But many religions are based on devotion to particular gods and goddesses, deities, some supernatural powers. Such religions also are there. He says here, Kamshantah karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha. People worship various devatas, deities, expecting some favor. Kamshantah karmanam siddhim. I am doing some work, I want your favor. So we worship various gods and goddesses. And it is okay. In this earth, such actions produce their good results. Chipram hi manushe loke siddhi bhavati karmaya. Actions produce their results quickly in this human region. Apart from heaven's way. That is the statement here. You can do so, but real religion will come when you understand the truth that these various deities are expression of one and the same divine truth. That knowledge must come. Then only pure religion will come. Here we are trying to exploit gods for our own purpose. We don't love God. We want to squeeze God to get some advantage to ourselves. That is not correct religion. But we don't condemn this, we respect this also. In the Gita you will find even the most ordinary idea of religion. Nothing is condemned. That man understands it that much. He is doing it. When his understanding changes, he will change also. Like a child writing your Telugu language lesson very wrongly, pronouncing wrongly. You don't condemn. At that stage, that's all what he can do. But when he grows up, he will be a first-class scholar. Similarly, in religion, we can be in the kindergarten or the primary or high school or university. Various levels of understanding of religion are there. So we always respect the religion of the people. Wherever you turn to worship the divine through some deities, it is really worship of the divine. And Krishna will say later, all such worship of deities ultimately becomes worship of me. They are seeking me through all these various expressions of gods and goddesses. Kshipram hi manushe loke siddhi bhavati karmaya. Now we come to one statement here. It is a sloka which many people have misunderstood and center of controversy because it refers to a social problem. So far as Gita is concerned, the words are very, very clear. Here is the shloka. The purpose of the shloka is to tell that I do things, yet I am unattached. Show unattachment, it gives an example, that's all. The example is this, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram atimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. This social organization based on the four varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, four types of people in any society, according to their inclination, according to their capacity, guna, karma, their quality and their action. That will determine whether you are a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. Any family can have any one of these types. One will take to military, one will take to business, one will take to agriculture, one will take to your service. In this way you will find various people according to the inclinations for the mind, taking to various professions that show the freedom of the individual. Whatever you want to take as your job, you are free to do so. That is the meaning of Krishna's statement of this particular subject. Society needs organization into groups. And these organizations we did in India as first labor, then you come to business, agriculture, industry. Then we come to administration, political affairs, etc. Then we come to high intellectual and spiritual guidance by a small group of people. Every society has all the four groups. But what became wrong in India, later ages, they became hereditary, number one. By hereditary method, we made it very, what you call, cramped as it were. Secondly, we claim more privileges for some and less privileges for others. These two aspects ruin the whole system. So remove those two aspects, you will find this is what is happening everywhere. In America you can see this expression very well there. Any family you will find a student says, I shall join the military. You are free to do so. He is a Kshatriya. That is the duty of the Kshatriya. Or I will take to business. Vaishya. I shall be a laborer. Shudra. I shall be a priest or a spiritual seeker. You will be a Brahmana there. It's up to you. You are perfectly free. When that freedom is there, to choose what you like, according to your guna and karma, then a society becomes healthy. But when you stop that free choice, you become tied down to your hereditary profession. Then it becomes narrowed down more and more and more. And it becomes evil when privileges are claimed by one group over the other. That is what happened to Indian Jati Vyavastha or caste system. The Brahmana and the Kshatriya commanded more prestige, more privilege, more power. Others had very little. Not even human status was allowed to them. That kind of distortion took place later on, and today we are trying to break away from that distortion. But groups will remain. Somebody will be highly spiritually inclined. Somebody will be exercising power in political field like Kshatriyas. Somebody will be busy business and industry. Somebody will be laborers working here and there, according to your situation, according to your capacity, etc. That will happen all through. But no special privilege will be allowed to anybody. Vivekananda said, therefore, in a lecture in England on Vedanta and privilege, a famous lecture, he said, differences will be there in every society. Different functions. People contribute. That's natural. But whenever privileges raise their head, special privileges knock them on the head. Vivekananda said, I am a high caste. I have got special privilege. Knock it on the head. Don't allow any special privilege. Perfect equality. That is democracy. So in a democracy, you can have the Jatavarnyam minus its evil features. Every society has it. So when we now develop democracy in India, you will find the same thing. Somebody takes the politics, administration, power, or industry, business, or agriculture, or labor. It is up to you. That will not change. This is the original conception. Krishna is referring to that. Sadharvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vidhagasaha. According to guna and karma. Guna means your particular qualities, your inclinations. Karma is your action. Action and quality or inclination determine to what group you belong. So groups will be there. You will find today so many groups. So all industries become one group. They have got their own merchants' chamber or industrial chamber. All these are there. Teachers have their own group. They all make groups. That we made hundreds of groups in a society, but we classified them broadly into four. These are the four. The Brahmana type. When we dealt with the introduction to the Gita by Shankaracharya, at the beginning of these discourses on the Gita, we referred to this subject, that the goal of human life is to be a Brahmana. Brahmanatva. What does it mean? Absolutely moral, self-restrained, full of compassion, never needing a policeman to make him behave, because he is well restrained within himself. That enlightened person is a Brahmana type. Every society has this Brahmana type. How many beautiful Brahmanas Vivekananda saw in America, and he writes in the letter, what beautiful type I have seen here. Fine Brahmana types. So also you can see them in Japan or in China, everywhere. So that Russia will find it. Kshatriya type, very good, ever ready to help the people. Even though it may cost himself, he is ever ready. That kind of chivalrous attitude, the knight errants, as we say, such people are there. They are the Kshatriya type, and very good in business, industry, agriculture, the Vaishya type, and good laborers. The world will always have plenty of labor class, but they will not be deprived of privileges. Food, shelter, clothing, everything will be there. But they will earn also well. And you will find, for the question of kind of your earning in the Indian organization, the higher you go, the less your remuneration. Up to Vaishya, you have got remuneration. Vaishyas earn plenty. Kshatriyas do not care for money. They care for honor. Mind you, the Kshatriya will always care for honor over and above money. And the Brahmana, no honor, no money. Simplest life. That's why they are the simplest priesthood in the world. I have seen Brahmanas absolutely living on 15 rupees a month. A beautiful life, very contented, happy. They are the poorest priesthood in the world. And yet, what brilliant intellects, brilliant minds, they were there. So in this way, Brahmana is a type. Kshatriya also is a type. So also Vaishya and Shudra. So what is the end of all this social process? The Brahmana. Ultimately all must become the Brahmana type. He is a Brahmana who is not selfish, who feels his oneness with all, who has realized God in this very life. When I refer to this subject during those discourses, I read out from Buddha's teaching for the Dharmapada, a chapter called Brahmana Varga, chapter on Brahmana. Him I call a Brahmana who is like this, like this, like this. Beautiful verses were there. Buddha also respected this social ideal of a Brahmana, but not by birth. He repeatedly said Mahabharata or in Buddha's teaching, by conduct and behavior you become a Brahmana or a Kshatriya, not by birth only. That's why today you can become a Kshatriya, wherever you are born, whatever section you are born. A Harijan can become our minister, like our Dr. Ambedkar. He was a Kshatriya, though coming from the scheduled caste. What a glorious life he lived, what intellect he had. So that is the new India, taking shape, removing all the evils from that caste system, which have ruined our life for centuries together. So Krishna is telling this, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha Tasya Kartaram Apimam. Even though I am the doer of this social organization, know me as perfectly detached. I am not the doer at all, because I have not the attitude that I am the doer. The stress is on this second line. Even though I work, I am detached. Detachment is a great word. I was reading the latest book on the new type of thinking we need in the modern age for stabilizing international situations, where this subject is introduced, non-attachment. Detachment is absolutely necessary for the higher development of the human being. Gita's central teaching is this concept of detachment. Interest is there, zest is there, but detachment is there. Wonderful idea. You work hard, work with great energy, but the mind is detached. That is central teaching. So, Krishna says, I am working very hard for the welfare of the world, but I am perfectly unattached. That is a lesson to all of us. And even for management executives, in the book which I read, this idea is given. Develop detachment. You can do better work, more creative work when the mind is detached. There is language used there. Creativity cannot come from the attached state of mind. From the detached state of mind only it can come. Such books are coming out in good numbers in modern times. So, this is the emphasis in this particular section. Now comes verse 14 to elaborate on this idea of detachment. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spraha itimam yo abhijanati karma phir nasa badhyate. No karma can ever taint me. Namam karmani limpanti. No actions ever taint me. Similarly, name karma phale spraha. Nor do I have any attachment for the fruits of action. Itimatva mam yo abhijanati. Those who understand me in this way, he also will be free from bondage of action. He can do all action, but actions will not bind him. If he understands my status like this and try to practice it in his own life, he will also be perfectly free. So the stress is on action, but with a particular attitude. Attitude is detachment. Detachment. Very difficult to practice. In the beginning it will be very difficult. There is no harm. Attachment will be there. We will fumble, but continue. By effort, you will come to that detachment when your spiritual strength becomes better and better and better. They don't expect us to be on the first day itself highly detached people. As you begin your life, Swami Vivekananda says in his famous book Karma Yoga, you will find your mind is fully attached. Attached to this, attached to that. Doesn't matter. You continue. Keep the teaching before you. Practice a little detachment in one situation or another situation. Slowly you will gain strength. Then a time will come. You can say, yes, now I feel I am detached. That's a beautiful idea. Detachment. When I separate myself from the body, the self and the body and what dwells in the body. There is a container, there is a contained. Now they are mixed up. They are just held together, very attached. Then I separate. I am the infinite self. This is only an instrument. It comes and goes. I remain. A detachment comes. Ramakrishna compares it to a green coconut and a ripe coconut. Those who have handled the coconuts you will find, take a green coconut. Break it, you will find the kernel. Scoop the kernel, you will scoop also a little bit of the shell also along with it, because it is attached to the shell. Take a dry coconut, you take it out, the shell and the kernel, they are separate. That sound, Karabadai sound you will find there, absolutely unattached. Similarly, the human mind can become unattached. That is the challenge given for all work. This is a great teaching, especially in this highly industrial age, when work creates tension, blood pressure, this and that. The only way is to practice detachment. Then any amount of work will not trouble you. So detachment, non-attachment, these words are used in the Gita again and again. Gandhiji wrote his Gita with the title Anasakti Yoga, the yoga of non-attachment. Anasakti Yoga, Asakti, attachment. Anasakti, non-attachment. That's the yoga. Imam yo abhijanati karma firmasa badhyate. Such a person won't be bound by actions. He can continue to perform actions, but he will be free. Evam jnatva kritam karma purvairavi mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. See, what a beautiful idea. It is with this attitude that many great sages and kings, emperors in ancient times performed action. Evam jnatva kritam karma purvairavi mumukshubhihi. Those who wanted moksha or freedom, they also did work, but with this attitude. And in this attitude, they could also attain moksha, though they were in the heart of work itself. If that is so, Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam, you also do karma. You also do karma. He says, purvaihi purvataram kritam. As our ancients did, in a particular way, they became free. You also do it in your own way. In the modern period, work will continue. Attitude will change. A spirit of detachment will come. In one shloka or verse, this idea is expressed. It is quoted by Lokmanya Tilak in his Gita Rahasya. Viveki sarvada mukto kurvato nasti kartrita alepavadam ashritya Sri Krishna janakau yatha. The shloka. Viveki, a person of discrimination. Sarvata mukto, ever the mind is free. Kurvato nasti kartrita. Though he is doing action, he doesn't feel he is the agent of that action, because he has detachment. Kurvato nasti kartrita. How? Alepavadam ashritya. He has accepted the philosophy of non-attachment. Alepa means nothing is sticking to me. Lepa means sticking. Just put some sandalwood paste on your body, called lepana. for lepa. Alepa doesn't touch you. Alepavadam, the theory of non-attachment, ashritya, depending upon that theory, then the example is given. Sri Krishna Janakau Yatha, like Krishna and Janaka are famous examples, very hard-working people, but they had the spirit of detachment. You also do. Similarly, is the famous verse, Alepavadam ashritya, Sri Krishna Janakau Yatha. That example is there. You can also do. We have no possibility of pronouncing work. Our life cannot go on without work. So work is essential. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam. You do work all the time, there is no harm. But with this attitude, that is the Krishna's advice, Purvaihi Purvataram Kritam. As ancients did in ancient times, you follow same method, same attitude. Work is a very difficult subject. The next sloka refers to it. Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayopyatra mohitaha, tatte karma pravakshami, yajñātva mokshase ashubhat. It says, verse 16. Say, what is karma? What is action? Kim karma. Kim akarmeti. What is inaction? Akarma means inaction. On this subject, kavayopyatra mohitaha. Even the sages are deluded on this subject. Not easy to understand. Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayopyatra mohitaha. Tatte karma pravakshyami. Therefore I shall speak to you about karma. Yajñātva, knowing which, mokshase ashubhat. You will be free from all evil arising from action. I will give you a philosophy by which you can do all action, but you will not be attached. You will not be bound. Lepa will not be there. Just like lotus leaf, water doesn't wet it. It just flows and goes away, absolutely free. That's the nature of the mind when it is trained in the spirit of detachment. This is the first sloka on the subject. And the second one is the top thought, Mount Everest of thought on the subject. A very crisp statement with deep meaning. And the language is almost a contradictory statement, saying, Karmani agarmaya pashyed, agarmani cha karmayaha. You must say, before we take up that subject, he is telling further, karmano khede bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmana, agarmana cha bodhavyam, gahana karmano gati. 17th verse. You must know what is karma. Karmanascha bodhavyam. You must also know what is agarma, inaction. You must also know what is vikarma, what should not be done, that kind of karma. All the three types of karmas are there. Karma, agarma, vikarma. All the three are there. You must know all this. The way of karma is extremely mysterious. Karmano gahana gatihi. Now, several writers have commented upon this statement. One example only I give you in this connection, and that is when you say, I am taking holiday, I am not doing any work, and yet my life then there cannot go on unless somebody else is working to feed me. There must be a shop there where he will arrange things for my feeding. So I am not acting, but action is going on all around me. I also am affected by that action. So where is real inaction? It is not possible to trace inaction there, because you find lot of action in order to maintain me in that inaction. So don't think inaction is so simple. It is not so easy. It is very difficult to understand what is action, what is inaction. Karmana gahano gatihi. The way of karma is mysterious. And then he gives that famous dictum. Karmanyakarmaya pashyed, akarmani cha karmayaha, sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karmakrit. This is the very high level of thought in the whole Gita. He who sees inaction inaction, action in inaction. He is the real yogi. He is the most intelligent person. He is the doer of real action. Karmani agarmayat pashet, seeing in action. How can we say that? Looks like contradictory, but no, in human experience this can be perfectly realized. To see inaction in action and action in inaction. Sabuddhiman manusheshu is the most intelligent of men. Sayukta, he is a true yogi. Sakrista karmatat, he is the doer of all action. That is the state we have to achieve eventually when we realize our true nature. This idea is echoed very, very beautifully in Chinese thought, Taoism and partly Confucian thought. There they call it no work. No work is real work. Work is no work at all. No work is real work, he will say. It is a question of agency and attachment. When these two are not there, work ceases to be work. It becomes a play. It becomes spontaneous. It becomes natural. So that is how the idea of work comes when there is effort, struggle, tension, all these are there. When you become thoroughly detached, then all that tension goes away. You don't feel like working. Though you are working, you don't feel like working. What a beautiful idea. Even in normal life, you can see a baby is sick at night and the mother is keeping awake to tend the baby. She doesn't feel the strain of that work at all. Where there's such love for the baby, she doesn't feel that strain. But any paid person will not have the same experience where there's love there. A little spiritual development, work ceases to be a burden, ceases to be a drudgery. I have used a word which is very significant in this modern context. Increasingly, today's industrial civilization is teaching people that work is drudgery. Joy must be found outside work. That's why too much of holidays. As soon as Friday evening comes, millions of people are running out for holiday. These 5 days were all drudgery. Let us have joy outside the 5 days. That's a modern theory. In fact, so many people have written on the subject. One Englishman wrote that people go from London on Friday afternoon, go on driving. On the way there are so many cars. You have to negotiate through all this. You become angry. You create trouble. Go to the seaside. So many people are there. You don't have enough place there. You get angry there also. When you return on Monday morning or Sunday night, you are more tired than when you went. That language he wrote there. This is happening all over the world. Mediterranean coast, you can see plenty. These things happening. It will happen here also. Because we separate joy from work. Work is drudgery. Krishna will not allow that attitude. There is joy in work also. From this joy to that joy is all right. From drudgery to joy is not at all right. Work can be full of joy, provided there is love in the heart. Then everything becomes fine. You can carry a heavier burden if there is love in your heart. There's one lesson we must learn. People posted to defend the country in the frontier, if they have spirit of patriotism, they don't complain. Perfectly okay. Suppose they love the nation. They will be constantly complaining. When are you going to transfer me to a Connaught Circus, they will say. You want to be in the heart of Delhi, not in far away there. Now this attitude makes a lot of difference in work. So here, in Chinese thought also, the idea is there, the man who has no attachment, he does wonderful work, transforming work. By attachment you can never do very great work. While working, you are not really working. You are expressing your personality in work. That is a wonderful idea. In work, when you express your personality, it is a wonderful spiritual experience. If that is possible, it will be a wonderful thing. Gita is trying to explain that idea, that work itself is a spiritual education. If you want joy in a holiday, you can do so. Not because what is drudgery, but because I want an extra holiday, extra quiet life. There is no harm. Never treat work as drudgery. Gita will not allow it. Find joy in work. What a beautiful idea. Even the simplest work, you can find joy in it because you put the spiritual value into work. Work itself is just an external action, but it is my mind that gives value to the work that I do. I inject that value into work. Then I find it is fine, quite pleasant, no tension. So, work without tension. He will say later on, Yudhyasva Vikata Jwaraha. Carry on the battle of life without inner tension, inner fever, as a language. Yudhyasva Vikata Jwaraha. The jwara inside should not be there. Tension should not be there. But work on, work hard for the good of all. Like that he will say. In the third chapter also, he has said this. So he says, Karmanya karmaya pashed. Akarmanicha karmaya. Sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krit. In many books on management published in America, there are Chinese writers also among them. They quote from these Chinese authors and show that with this tremendous detachment, you can carry heavy burdens and do much work without feeling that you are working at all. Part of it I have quoted in that lecture on Divine Grace, which appears in the first volume of Eternal Values for a Changing Society. There you will find thinking is similar. The Chinese thinkers, Indian thinkers, all had the same idea because of the spirit of detachment that comes at the time of work under the inspiration of such a spiritual philosophy. So, there's a famous quote, Ashtavatara Gita, very high Advaita Vedanta, that book is. There it is mentioned there. Nivrittirapi modhasya pravrittirupajayate pravrittirati dhirasya nivritti phalabhagini. A wonderful slogan. The inactivity of a foolish man is worse than activity. The activity of a wise man deserves the name of inactivity and inaction. That's the language there. If I am an intelligent person, even though I am working, I will feel I am inactive. If I am a foolish person, I have taken leave, gone on holiday, I will be always in tension, always in trouble. Holiday has done no good to me at all, because the training of the mind has not taken place. So that sloka is very, very important. Nivrittirapi mudhasya pravrittirupajayate. His nivritti becomes pravritti. Nivritti means withdrawal from action. Pravritti means entering into action. So nivritti becomes pravritti for a foolish man. Wise man, pravritti becomes nivritti. Even while acting, he is perfectly detached. He is not acting at all. That is the idea expressed in several books of the Vedanta literature as well as in Chinese thought, Taoist and partly Confucian thought as well. So this is the idea we must keep in view when we work. From morning till evening, a housewife can go on working, attending to so many people and so many things, and the evening can still feel fresh. If that is possible, it will be wonderful. Gita says it is possible. Many have attained that thing. That comes from the spirit of detachment, the spirit of love and concern for others. All these things together constitute the spiritual attitude to life. Otherwise, we can be a complaining mind all the time. Constantly complaining. There are people who work hard from morning till evening, always grumbling. What fun is there? Just like a bull driving a cart, simply going on under this heavy load. What is the use of such a life? There must be joy, there must be satisfaction. I have to get it myself. Nobody else is going to give me as a donation. My philosophy must be such. That is a challenge before everyone. Nothing is great in work itself. It is the attitude of the worker that evaluates the work as good or bad. That lesson Gita teaches again and again. It is your attitude. The attitude is good, your work is good. Attitude is wrong, your work is wrong. So control your attitude. It is in your power. Thus, Krishna speaks of detachment, the central theme of the Gita teaching of work. Central teaching is work. We must work, we must work, we must work. But work in what way? In a spirit of detachment. That this ego, centered in the organic system, is not my true self. I am something infinite, one with all. That knowledge must come slowly. Then you get tremendous sense of detachment. So much of cushioning effect of pressures in the world you get in that way. Just like two railway coaches, when they touch each other, there is a cushioning effect by that particular kind of bumper that is kept there, which is full of this kind of frames inside. So it goes in. You don't feel a kind of shaking thereby. It was an absorbed, a bit of shaking. So in the mind, we have got plenty of space behind. We can always find space so that no shock will reach us. The deepest is the Atman. So a little closer you go towards it, you will feel you can do work better. More work, less tiresomeness, less tension. That is a great teaching for all people, because all of us have to work to earn our living, discharge our responsibilities. So this philosophy is meant for all, especially today, when work has become such an important factor of human development and welfare. We shall take up this subject next Sunday, as usual, with a chapter which is full of beautiful ideas. Similarly, next chapter and the next. These are exceptionally fine. We shall take up next Sunday. Before we close, I have to make this announcement. Sorry, my voice is a little troublesome. I got cold 3 or 4 days ago. We're almost going away now, but still it is there a little bit. On 12th January, Swamiji's birthday, we have a one-day youth convention in the compound of the mutt. About 4,000 to 5,000 youth will be coming from colleges, all between 16 and 30 age group. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, all will be there. Many principals are cooperating, so also Director of Higher Education also is helping, and we hope to have a wonderful youth festival. That day here, morning inauguration, 9 o'clock, and after 10:30, be a real session with the delegates only. Inauguration, of course, all can come. And the evening, concluding session at 6 o'clock, when the Chief Minister will be there for conclusion. He will also release complete works of Swami Vivekananda, subsidized edition, for which orders have been placed here for more than 3,800 sets. So those books will be released that day, and people who have paid for money for it will come and take day after day. That is a function on the 12th. And many students will come and speak on Swami Vivekananda's ideas, national integration and communal problem, and India and the world outside, ideas of education. All these subjects are there. And there will be dramas by students based on Swamiji's teachings. So the whole thing will be a youth festival on 12th from morning till evening. So the first function and the last function, all can come. But other functions also, they can come, because they did not go to take lunch at home. If they want to continue in the Bengali Samiti behind the mutt, they are having a canteen to cater to those who come. And to the delegates, they are arranging a canteen in the Kalyana Mandapam on the other side. So only the delegates will go there, others will go to the Bengali Samiti canteen. So this is the program for 12th January. We shall sit for a minute in silence and then disperse.